What's the biggest bullet you've ever dodged? For me, it was nearly marrying my college sweetheart, Eliza. We met sophomore year in an art history class. Eliza was the kind of beautiful that made you nervous. Dark hair, green eyes, always dressed like she'd stepped out of a vintage photograph. I was awkward, overthinking everything, and somehow she found that charming. Our relationship moved quickly. By senior year, we were living together in a tiny apartment near campus. I could barely afford my half of the rent, but I didn't care. I was in love in that all-consuming way you can only be at 21. We should get married after graduation, she said one night, curled against me on our second-hand couch. We could move to Portland. I could work at a gallery, you could write. It sounded perfect. I even bought a ring. Nothing fancy, just a vintage band with a small emerald that reminded me of her eyes. I spent 3 months' worth of ramen dinners on it. The proposal was planned for graduation weekend. Her parents were coming to town, and I'd arranged for all of us to have dinner at the nice restaurant on Main Street, the one we couldn't afford but saved for special occasions. 2 weeks before graduation, I came home early from my shift at the campus bookstore. Our apartment was quiet, but Eliza's bag was by the door. Then I heard her voice from the bedroom talking on the phone. "I know, Mom, but he's stable. He'll get a decent job, and I can focus on my art." A pause. "Of course I care about him, but you know how hard it is to make it as an artist. I need someone reliable." I stood frozen in the hallway, my hand still on the doorknob. "It's not settling, it's being practical," she continued. "And he adores me. Do you know how rare that is?" I should have confronted her right then. Instead, I silently backed out of the apartment and walked around campus for hours, the conversation replaying in my head. That night, I pretended I hadn't heard anything, but something had broken. I started noticing things, how she talked about our future in terms of what I could provide, how she rolled her eyes when I shared my own dreams. "You're not really talented enough to make it as a writer," she said casually over breakfast one morning. "But that's okay. Not everyone needs a creative career." I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized I'd been so in love with the idea of her that I'd missed who she actually was. The night before I was supposed to propose, we had a fight about something trivial. Dishes or laundry? I don't remember. But suddenly, everything poured out. "You don't even like me," I said. "You just like having someone who thinks you're perfect." "That's ridiculous," she scoffed. "I've built my entire future around you." "No. You've built your future around using me." Her face changed then, hardened in a way I'd never seen. "Fine. You want to know the truth? I settled for you because you were safe. Because you'd never leave." The irony wasn't lost on me. The ring box felt heavy in my pocket as I packed my things that night. Graduation came and went. I moved back home for a while, feeling like I'd failed at something important. It took months before I realized what I'd actually done was save both of us from years of resentment. Last I heard, Eliza was in New York, working at a prestigious gallery. I'm glad for her. She wasn't a villain, just someone who'd been taught that practicality outweighed passion. As for me, I eventually did become a writer, not famous, but making a living. I met someone who believes in my dreams as much as her own.